Bom dia, gente. Tudo bem? Well, now that you know that verbs have moods, right? The indicative, the subjunctive, and the imperative. Now we are going to look at the passive voice and the active voice, okay? So what does that mean? When we say active voice, that means that the subject is performing the action. So you say, for example, John broke the record. Okay, so John is the most important thing here. Okay, it was John, it was not Mary, it was not Richard who broke the record, it was John. So John broke the record. Now suppose that I want to emphasize that the action of breaking the record was the most important thing, and I want to say that when it happened. So I'm going to say the record was broken in 2014. Okay, so this is what we call the passive voice, when the doer of the action is not the most important, but the action itself is the most important. Okay, so we are going to see how this works in the language. So what you have to remember, the rules are the same both in English and Portuguese. So how do you form this? John broke the record. So you are going to eliminate John. Okay, John is in second place. So the record is what you want to emphasize. So the record is going to become the subject of the sentence. So the record, and then you said John broke the record. So the verb to break, that's the main verb. The verb to break is in the past tense, broke. Break, broke, broken. So you are going to get the verb break, and you're going to see what verb tense it is in. So it's in the past tense, so the verb to be is going to be in the past tense. So John broke the record. The record was, so the verb to be in the past, and the verb to be has to agree with the subject. Okay, so the record, singular, so the record was, and then the main verb is to break. What is the past participle of the verb to break? Broken. So the record was broken. If you still want to say who did it, because you still want to give some credit, you can say by John. Okay, so in Portuguese it's the same thing. Okay, the process is the same. So you have the object is going to become the subject, the verb to be has to be in the same verb, in the same tense as the main verb in the active voice, and then the main verb goes to the past participle. So let's see how it goes in Portuguese. A voz passiva é formada, so you see that I am already using the passive voice here, right? So we form the passive voice. The passive voice is formed, ok? Então a voz passiva é formada pelo verbo to be, no mesmo tempo verbal do principal, do verbo principal. So it has, the verb to be is always going to be in the same verb tense as the main verb in the active voice. And then you get the active verb, and you have to have it in the past participle, ok? Mais o particípio passado do verbo principal. Vamos nos concentrar no verbo ser no pretérito. Well, before we do this, let me show you. I selected some text here for you to see the use of the passive voice, okay? So here, for example, saiba como vinho é produzido. So here you see an example why the process is much more important than who does it. So who is doing it is not important, okay? Now, if you're going to focus on a certain family that produced some wine, then you are going to, the subject is going to be, you might want to use the active voice because you want to emphasize the people who actually make the wine, okay? But saiba como o vinho é produzido. Então saiba como nós produzimos o vinho. Então nós produzimos in the present, so the verb to be is in the present. Como o vinho é produzido. You see that we produce the wine. So see how we produce wine. So we is not important at all. So see how wine is produced. So remember that the verb to be has to agree with the new subject, okay? So in the active voice, nós produzimos o vinho. So we produce the wine. So we disappears. So now you have a new subject, the wine. So the verb to be has to agree with wine, okay? That's why it's in the singular. Então saiba como o vinho é produzido. So let me show you another example here. É importante que, so you know that when you have this expression, é importante que, you must use the subjunctive. Now look how cool it is. So the subjunctive is in the passive voice here, okay? So it's important that they are harvested, ok? So, é importante que elas sejam. So, you still obey the rule that you must use the subjunctive, but, so it's in the passive voice, ok? So, it's important that they are harvested in the correct moment, right? Nem verdes demais, nem maduras demais. Neither too green nor too ripe. Se não o vinho irá sofrer. As uvas colhidas contêm. Você pode fazer um vinho, não com vinho, deixa eu ver aqui. As uvas colhidas são colocadas. So, we place the harvested grapes. Então, nós colocamos as uvas colhidas. As uvas colhidas são colocadas em um carro para ser provotadas. Cada vez mais as uvas estão sendo colhidas. More and more grapes are being harvested. So you see that the verb to be will change according to the verb tense that it's in the active voice, okay? Let me give you another example. When you look at headlines, okay? You will be able to see some examples of the passive voice. So, pérolas, confira. I lost the one that I wanted to give you. This one here. Let me see. Yes. Mônica Bergamo. Hoje sou reconhecida. Então, eles me reconhecem. Eu sou reconhecida. Ok? Let me see here. In explanations, okay? In encyclopedias, you're going to see a lot of the passive voice. So, for example, it's explaining the origin of the Bible, okay? A Bíblia, plural de... não sei falar isso. Provavelmente do nome da cidade de onde esse material era exportado. So you see, eles exportavam o material era exportado. You notice that material is masculine, ok? É considerada a Bíblia, né? We consider the Bible. So the Bible is considered, ok? É considerada pelos cristãos, né? By Christians, a Bíblia foi escrita, ok? So they wrote the Bible. The Bible was written, ok? A Bíblia, eles escreveram a Bíblia foi escrita. Okay, so these are some of the examples that I wanted you to see how you can notice how the passive voice is pretty much used in academic texts, okay? Because sometimes it's the process that's much more important, okay? You want to give emphasis to the process or to the action itself. So let's go back here and let's take a look at these examples. Eles me convidaram para a festa. So they invited me to the party. We are going to focus only in the verb ser in the past tense because I don't want to make it too complicated for you right now. Okay, so we are going to focus only was written or were or was, okay? So, eles me convidaram para a festa. So, they invited me to the party. So, the main verb is in the past tense. So, the verb to be is going to be in the past tense, ok? Então, eles me convidaram. So, they invited me. I was invited. So, the object is going to become the subject in the passive voice, ok? Então, eu fui, so the verb ser has to agree with the subject. Eu fui convidada. Now, if you are a guy, you're going to say, eu fui convidado. If you're talking about two people, if you're saying we were invited, nós fomos convidados, ok? O WBIR entrevistou a Camila. Então, a Camila foi entrevistada pelo repórter, pelo WBIR. Um arquiteto francês construiu a casa. So a French architect built the house. So the house was built by a French architect, ok? A casa foi construída por um arquiteto francês. O comitê aceitou nossos trabalhos para conferência. So the committee accepted our papers for the conference. So, our papers were accepted by the committee, ok? Nossos trabalhos foram aceitos pelo comitê. Notice that the preposition is pour, but the thing is, you have by the committee, you have the definite article. So, o comitê masculino. So, remember that when you have the preposition pour and the article, then you have to join them. You cannot just leave them like that. Por o committee. No, no, no. Pelo comitê, ok? O furacão afetou a todos nós. So the hurricane affected all of us. So you're going to say all of us were affected by the hurricane. Então todos nós fomos afetados pelo furacão. Okay, so now you are going to write these sentences in the passive voice, okay? So Leonardo da Vinci pintou a Mona Lisa. Então, so the object, a Mona Lisa, is going to become the subject, okay? A Mona Lisa, and then now the verb ser has to be in the same tense. So we are just going to use the past tense, okay? To make it easy for you. Então a Mona Lisa foi pintada, Mona Lisa, em português é za. A Mona Lisa foi, so the verb pintar is a regular verb, so the past participle, ado, right? So it's feminine, a Mona Lisa foi pintada por Leonardo da Vinci. Desculpem, gente. Leonardo da Vinci. Notice that there is no article, so you just write por, okay? So when there is an article, o, a, os, as, then you have to say pelo, pela, pelas, pelas. O furacão destruiu a cidade. So the hurricane destroyed the city. So you're going to say the city was destroyed by the hurricane. Então, a cidade foi destruída, acento agudo, pelo, so o furacão, não, pelo, ok? Pelo furacão. Os cientistas analisaram os dados. So the scientists analyzed the data. So the data were analyzed. Então, os cientistas, desculpe, it's the object that becomes the subject. Os dados, and then it's plural, foram, analisar is a regular verb, analisados. Notice that dados is masculine plural, so the past participle has to agree, okay? This is different from English. Os dados foram analisados pelos os cientistas, so you have to use pelos cientistas. Nós construímos a casa, so we built the house. So you're going to say the house was built by us. Então, a casa, so construir, so the past participle is going to be ida, ok? Então, a casa foi construída, there is acento agudo no i, construída por nós. There is no article, so you're going to just use the preposition, ok? A casa foi construída por nós. A Vanessa fez a feijoada. A feijoada foi, the verb fazer is irregular in the past participle, foi feita. Feijoada is feminine singular. Foi feita, there is an article, a Vanessa, então pela Vanessa. Oscar Niemeyer projetou a cidade de Brasília. A cidade de Brasília foi, the verb projetar is a regular verb, so projetada, cidade is feminine singular, foi projetada por, there is no article, so it's just por Oscar Niemeyer. Os brasileiros elegeram Dilma Rousseff para presidente em 2010. So Dilma Rousseff, let me change this because the president now, it's a nightmare. Os brasileiros elegeram Jair Bolsonaro para presidente em 2018, ok? So, So the verb eleger is in the past. So Jair Bolsonaro is the object. It becomes the subject. Jair Bolsonaro foi, and then the verb eleger is irregular, okay? Foi eleito. I mean, the verb eleger has two participles, right? Eleito e elegido. In this case, you're going to use the irregular because you're using the verb ser, okay? Jair Bolsonaro foi eleito para presidente em 2018. And that's a good thing to remember, that in the passive voice, you only use the verb ser, never the verb estar, okay? The verb estar, what we practiced before, is just the result of an action, okay? So, he opened the door is open, okay? Desculpem, gente, eu estou doente. Quem inventou a lâmpada? So who, you have to answer these using the passive voice. So who invented the light bulb? You're going to answer using the passive. The light bulb was invented by Thomas Edison, ok? Então, a lâmpada foi, so the verb inventar, it's a regular verb, foi inventada, a lâmpada, feminino singular, a lâmpada foi inventada por, there is no article, Thomas Edison. Quem pintou a Capela Sistina? I put it in parentheses in case some of you don't know. Hopefully you do, right? Espero que saibam. Quem pintou a Capela Sistina? So, who painted the Sistine Chapel? So, Michelangelo, tem acento circunflexo. Michelangelo pintou a capela. We have to use the passive voice, right? A capela Sistina foi, the verb pintar is regular, foi pintada por Michelangelo. This is the way you spell it, okay? A Capela Sistina foi pintada por Michelangelo. I don't know if it's Michelangelo. No, it's wrong. I think it's Q mesmo. Michelangelo. Q. A Capela Sistina foi pintada por Michelangelo. Quem assassinou Dr. Martin Luther King? So, he was assassinated by James Ray, ok? Então, Dr. Martin Luther King foi, the verb assassinar is regular, assassinado por James Ray. Quem fez a feijoada para a noite cultural? So, who made the feijoada for cultural night? A feijoada, so a feijoada, so it was made, so the verb fazer is irregular in the past participle, foi feita, singular plural, singular feminine, a feijoada foi feita pela Vanessa. Quem escreveu a peça Romeu e Julieta? So, who wrote the play Romeo and Juliet? So, the play, então, a peça Romeu e Julieta foi, the verb escrever is irregular, foi escrita por Shakespeare. Ok, gente. Obrigada. É isso daí, a voz passiva.